Hi guys, I'm Jen Johns. Welcome back to the show. There's a random trend on the internet, imagine that, and it is unicorn cakes with no noses. So who am I to deny the internet? Here you go, I'm going to show you how to make a unicorn cake with no nose. To make the cake, you need a double rainbow of cakes happening. So I have six 6-inch round cakes. You need to level them off, cover them in buttercream, and stack them up to get a 6-inch round cake for the top. Then you're going to take 6 8-inch round cakes. You're going to level those ones, cover them in buttercream, and you're going to get a 8-inch round cake for the bottom. If you need recipes or tutorials on how to do the stacking, make sure you check out the description box for all those previous videos I've done. We're moving on to create a rainbow of buttercream. At the end of my piping bag, I have all of my bags fitted with a 104 petal tip. You could also use a 125 or even a 103. What I'm going to do is hold my piping bag vertically against here, and I'm going to just put the fat end against the cake, and I'm going to just zigzag my way up the cake, alternating the different colors all the way around the cake. Working with yellow gum paste, I've rolled out these little kind of like really super long pyramids, and I'm just going to twist the two of them together. We're making the unicorn horn. So I'm just kind of twist them all together here, interlocking them. And I want to work it all the way down, and I'm trying to keep my end of my tip here nice and tight. Then I'm going to take a nice long skewer, and I'm going to insert that into the end, and then I'm going to let this dry for, you want to do it for at least a couple hours. Overnight is probably best. Now also with the gum paste, what we're going to do is squeeze some out using an extruder. You could also roll it out if you're really good at rolling this sort of thing out, but I'm using this extruder. It's actually a clay one, and we can use it just for fondant. It's awesome. So I'm just squeeze this guy out. So I've got my wing here, and I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper over top of it. And then taking my piece of gum paste here, I'm just going to trace my lines here at the bottom. And I'm just following them as best as I can. You're going to want to do this twice, but on your second image, you want to mirror it so it's going in the other direction. So I'd flip it over after I'm done this one and do it on the opposite side. And you want to make sure that these are hardened as well completely, and you can use water to attach these ones and the little pieces together. For the wings, I'm going to make them out of Isomalt. So the gum paste is providing me basically my mold. I'm going to take my melted Isomalt, which I melted in the oven, and you can remelt it if it resolidifies. That's the great thing. You can also do it in the microwave if you choose. I'm just keeping it in this hot little pan because the heat from the other ones are going to help it stay nice and liquid. And I'm just melted it in silicone little cupcake containers. You could use any sort of silicone container. They're perfect for that. So I'm just going around, and what I want to do is just make sure I match both wings to that I have the same colors in the same spots. So I'm just going to fill all these in with the Isomalt, and then I'm going to let it harden completely. With our horn and the wings cooled and hardened, I'm going to take some super gold Rokum powder, and what I'm going to mix that with is a little bit of basically clear alcohol. I'm using vodka, and I've just got it in a little eyedropper. I'm going to add a couple drops to the gold powder. And this powder this is actually for this project, it's the first time I've used it, and it is so excellent that I have to say that. It makes the gold super, super gold, as you can see as I'm mixing it in here. It's absolutely wonderful. So as I'm just taking a really teeny tiny paintbrush, and I'm just going to basically paint everything that's yellow on the wings, and I'm also going to paint the unicorn horn. Once the front of the wings is painted with the gold, I'm taking some hot clear Isomalt this time, and I'm just pouring it in the center there of my silicone mat, and I'm just taking a skewer, and I'm going to roll my skewer in that Isomalt, and then I'm going to place it on the edge of the wings there where I'm going to insert as a support for the wings to sit onto the cake. So I'm just rolling it into that Isomalt and then transferring it to the cake, and you want to make sure that your sticks will have the wing being vertical straight up and down. So now we're working on the fondant portion. I've got her eyes cut out. I used circles for that, and I just did some freehand eyelashes there. Now for the ears, what I've done is I've used these leaf cutters. So I'm just trying to multi-purpose things, and I'm just going to trim off the ends here. So you don't need that part. You don't need the part on the bottom of the yellow part either. Now take a toothpick, or two actually, press that into the white portion, and then we're just going to do that again on the second one. And then you're going to take the yellow bit, and you're going to apply the yellow bit on top. And then once this is dry, you're going to paint it gold. And that's why we're doing the yellow, because the gold shows up better if it has a yellow base. So in order to get the shape for the ear, I'm just going to wrap them around. I'm going to turn them upside down, and I'm going to just set them on my rolling pin. You could also use like a petal former or a leaf former, anything like that. Just want to set those up there. And if you put something on either side, that'll stop your rolling pin from rolling. So you want to do that for those. Now for the hair, the mane, what we want to do is roll out lots of different colors of fondant, and I've just got them fairly round and kind of beefy looking. And I'm going to take a straight edge, I'm going to cut it in half so I get one half that's flat and the other half is nice and round. Then taking a fondant tool, I'm just going to score it so it gives that more of a realistic appearance for the hair. So I'm going to do that for those. And I'll do a couple different colors here, because when you go to put them onto the cake, you want to make sure that you've wrapped them together. It kind of makes them look better rather than them being just individually placed. So what I'm going to do is just kind of start to basically shape them together in order for them to, like I said, look a little bit more realistic. So I'm just going to, because you know, a multicolored rainbow unicorn is so realistic. So I'm just going to continue on with this. With our elements all together, we can finally put everything onto our smaller cake. So I've got my little pieces of the mane put on there, and I'm just going to carefully get these guys just kind of halfway into there, the two ears. And then I'm also going to use some water to attach the eyes to the front. If your buttercream hasn't crusted yet, you could get them right onto that without it. But if it has, you need to use a little bit of water. So I'm just going to flip over that eye, apply a little bit of water onto the back, and then gently attach that right in place. So the last thing we need to do is assemble our entire cake together. So I'm just going to lift off my 6-inch here with her little head. I'm going to hold it carefully here. And then I'm going to transfer it to the middle here of the cake and just let it sit there. If you're going to have the top on top of this bottom one for very long, you definitely want to make sure you have that supported underneath. Now I'm going to twist out my dowel from my horn, and I'm going to put that into the center here, and I'm going to drive it all the way down through my cardboard piece. Going through the cardboard, it's getting, there it goes. You can feel it. You want to keep going until you get through that cardboard, and hopefully you don't pop through your cake. And place the horn back onto that hole there, and place that all the way down like that. And then for our wings, we're going to carefully, and these are quite fragile, insert them. You want to go as close to the 6-inch one as you can, and I've got them just basically kind of turned outwards a little bit, or backwards I guess towards me, and I'm just very carefully, you want to be really careful at this point, inserting them in. So I'm just going to continue to basically baby squeeze them down into the cake. So smooth a little bit of buttercream in between those two layers to hide that cake board, and you've got your unicorn cake with no nose completely assembled. I made mine rainbow, obviously. It's got the wings, because if we're going to have a magical unicorn, we need to have one that flies. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you hit that notification bell so you are notified every time we upload a video or do anything interesting. Also, we have a unicorn playlist, so check that out too. See you next time.